We meet again. So we're back for the third video in this series, and we're going to look at the newer Stardust stories. So we'll start with Family Fun Comics number 18. This is from 2025. Now, it's numbered 18 because there were 17 original Golden Age Stardust the Super Wizard, I almost said superhero, Super Wizard stories. And so this is the 18th. This is from the Coates brothers. James Coates does the art and John Coates does the words. And if you look up their work on dinobeasts.com, you come to a dead website. There's not even a website there. This is 2025 this came out. We're only in 2026. The website already doesn't exist anymore. I couldn't find anything about these guys. It's sad too because I kind of like this comic. This is put up by Cosmic Lion Productions. Now, it's really weird. It's got these hippo men. It's got lots of gore. They've got the proportions of Stardust, very bizarre, you know, like he should be. I like the sound effects in this. That's pretty cool. And it's just weird. Nothing makes sense, but it doesn't seem like it's forced. It seems like these Coates brothers are a little crazy. And I like that. It works. The tiny, tiny hands, I find it funny. Over the top gore, the fact that he's such a clueless, blithering idiot and doesn't realize it. It's neat. We have the return of the Emerald Men of Asperus and these new creatures. I don't know if this is allowed on YouTube, but it's on there now. But hey, I recommend getting the Golden Age stories, or actually, no, that's too expensive. Just read them online. And if you want, see if you can get this. I think you can. This is pretty good. It's worth the purchase. And it ends here with these mock-up covers of future stories to come. You see, it ended on a cliffhanger. Let me show you here. With this guy, he's like a evil brother or clone or something of Stardust. He is Dust Star. And then in issue 19, it would be the continuing story. Issue 20 is just this weird cover of him battling a tiger and an elephant. And then we have a Christmas special. And you see that face coming out of the throat? Let me find that in here. It's another weird thing that's in here that I like. Check out that double page spread. I can't even tell what's going on. Look at Stardust, this giant skeleton. I like that. I was right here on the first page. See, these are the Stardust kids. Remember them? And then I think he's got like Stardust's head growing out of his own head. I don't know. It's very weird and I like it. Got a lot of cool art, interesting illustrations, but none of these would come out. It says it right here. These books will not be sold in stores or on the internet. This is just fake mock-up covers. This was a one and done. I wish it wasn't because I like it. I would enjoy more of these. Sadly, that's where it ends because next up we have Fantastic Comics issue 24. Issue 24 because Fantastic Comics is where all but one of the Stardust stories appeared in, and there were 23 issues, so this is the next issue. In fact, it is not just Stardust, it is all the characters from Fantastic Comics. I got mine signed by Eric Larson, and it's made to look like an old Fantastic comic, and the first story right here is Samson by Eric Larson. I have not read the other stories in Fantastic Comics, so I didn't read these continuing stories. I just read the Stardust one, but I'm going to go back and read all the different Fantastic comic characters and these updated ones, but we're going to jump to Stardust for some disappointment. Right here we have some really horrible art by Mike Allred, the creator of Madman, a character I've never read. And it's just a bunch of different Golden Age heroes thrown together. Look, there's the Daredevil, Green Llama, Black Terror, the Claw, there's Daredevil's boomerang, and it's Stardust's girlfriend. Remember her? Well, she's now old, and it's got some throwbacks and stuff and what have you, and she becomes young in the end, I think, but it's a dream, but she's old. It's not worth reading. It's stupid. I hate it. That was actually the very first time anyone would ever see Stardust the Super Wizard in a new story since the Golden Age. And boy, what a letdown. But it gets worse, because now we have the new Zoop hardcover book. This is an anthology of many, many stories, all about Stardust the Super Wizard. This is also from 2025, the end of 2025, and like I said in a previous video, it is up for an Eisner Eisner Award. And there's a lot of controversy about that, and we will touch on that. So we have this story that ties everything together. It's some alien coming to Earth wanting to destroy it unless he has a good reason not to, and the reasons he's given are these Stardust stories. He's trying to see if the human race makes any sense, and he's not going to get any sense out of it from Stardust stories. In this first story, we have the return of the Brain Men of Mars, which was in Fantastic Comics issue 6, which was one of only 2 Golden Age stories not created by Fletcher Hanks. And we have a return of Rip the Blood, which was the first bad guy that Stardust ever fought, right? I think it was. Well, he survived because he threw him off that cliff, but he went into the water and survived, so he's back, and he's teamed up with the Brain Men of Mars. It doesn't matter. The story sucks. Next up, we have Stardust making a lockpick change his mind about his evil ways by carving out his heart and his brain and having them battle each other to see who wins in this love story. The only part I liked was this, that Stardust says to the lockpick's girlfriend, "Gladys, I am the supreme being Stardust. I wanted to crush your boyfriend in my hand, but your love overpowered my craving for justice. He faced the ultimate choice, and he chose you." Yeah. Now we have a story by Durf Backder, famous for his book My Friend Dahmer, about his childhood friendship with Jeffrey Dahmer. And it's got Stardust cussing about Karens. The sting out of my face. Now we have Stardust teaming up with Phantoma. I have not read the Phantoma stories by Fletcher Hanks. I am going to be doing that next for the next video. But I love this art by Scott Morse. The story, I don't care for it. But the art, yeah, I love it. That's the best part of it. A little bit more of the tying together bits. And now we go into another story where Stardust is married to Phantoma and they have kids together. It's got callbacks to more Golden Age stuff, a lot of modern anti-woke bias. I actively hate this stuff. Now we have Stardust in love with the embodiment of Halley's Comet. I don't know, it's a dumb story. It's nice art by Thor Peterson, of which I can find no info online for. Now look at this. This layout. Very interesting, right? It even spells out Stardust. The art, I like it. I recognized it though. I recognized it because I got all, what was it, 5 issues, 4 issues, 6 issues, whatever, of Man's Best from last year, miniseries by Jesse Lonergan. And his dog characters show up in this. Kind of seems like a one-trick pony, I guess, if he's just going to put his dogs everywhere. Well, I love the art. I hate the story. 1 out of 2 ain't bad, I guess, right? It's neat art. Very imaginative. And that's the end. It even says it. The end. Here we have Stardust turning the stone men from Saturn into Easter Island statues. This sucks. Now we have an interview with Stardust, which is used as an excuse to dissect his Golden Age stories and discussing the idea of separating the art from the artist. I don't know. It's not all that deep. It doesn't need to be. It needs to be entertaining, right? Wasn't that either. I guess it's something. And back to the connecting story. I'm sorry for sounding so negative, but I'm really not liking anthologies of these very quick, stupid, waste of time stories like this. This is written by an 8-year-old girl, and it's illustrated by some woman who does webcomics, and it's about a cat. It's garbage! I get it. The Stardust stories seem to have been like a child's fantasy of what a comic could be. But kids don't actually think that way. And there was a 52-year-old man that made these comics, not an 8-year-old. Close, but not quite. Okay, now we've got just a Phantoma story that doesn't even have Stardust in it. Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, here we go. This is called Companion Star. It is the return of the 6th column. It is the only story I liked in this book. I didn't love it. I liked it. It showed promise. It's very deep. It's worth a read. And you know what? Has enough time to breathe. Yeah. See? Nice and lengthy. And it's followed by this, which was, I just found it too hard to read, and I didn't care to try too hard. I read it for hours and hours and hours, these like 4 or 5 pages, and I was like, no thanks. What is this, key lime pie? Now I'm hungry. And here, we already looked at this. This is the one written by AI. This is the single page causing all the controversy. Already covered it. Dumb. And the continuing thread through the trade paperback. It's a hardcover, sorry. And here's another dumb, nothing of a story with somewhat enjoyable art. Was I just in a bad mood while reading this? It took me like a week to get through this thing. It was quite a slog. Okay, so here we have one by writer Ron Mars and artist Keith Browning. This was a good story, and it's got good art. I like it. The book is starting to redeem itself. Yeah, we got a couple of, spoke too soon. Here's a reprint of that 2008 story from the garbage can. Get out of my face. Oh, great. Another one by children. Devlin, age 9, and Irie, age 5. Age 5! Well, an adult drew it, but who cares? Hey, look, Stardust and Phantoma together again. It's a one-page joke. Oh, it's that back derf guy. Get out of here. More continuing connection. And here we have a story that looks kind of serious. Little kid wants revenge, gets Stardust's powers, goes after him, flung out into a black hole, does one redeeming good quality, and he is saved by Stardust. Takes him under his wing. Not bad. And then we have this. Why is this made to look so terrible? I guess they just wanted it to look like a really old, faded, Golden Age comic. I think Stardust has a twin in here. I didn't get the story, and it's not worth trying. Now here's a really weird one. This is a story where Stardust marries 2 men who come to his rescue by defeating the Emerald of Asperus, who he already defeated single-handedly by himself. And an ad for a Phantoma action figure that does not exist. Fake ad. Another story. Well, look at this. Why is this panel so different than the rest? What's going on here? I read it. I didn't get it. Sounding like a broken record here. I mean, it's got interesting artwork wasted on this. Maybe some of you guys would like these stories. Oh no? Did you guys get this book? What do you think? Is this all part of the same story? No, this is a different story. This is some psychedelic nonsense. Yeah, it's weird. Weird is not a bad thing. I like weird. I'm weird. Okay, more connection. And then Stardust involves himself in the story of the connection thread to tie up the book, which is good. I like the idea of that, but whatever. And then we talk about, then Van Jensen talks about why he put this book together. I'm glad this page was here. And now we get to something I think is really special. This is the very first published work by Fletcher Hanks' grandson, Ian Hanks, who wrote and drew this story, and I like it. It has the weirdness of his grandfather. It has some real emotion in here because this is the creation of Stardust by Fletcher Hanks and then the death of Fletcher Hanks at the hands of his own creation. It's a very clever story. I like it a lot. And we have more info about Stardust, which I like. And we've got some pinup pages. Look, there's that fake mock-up cover by James Coates for that proposed issue 20. Well, it's kind of nice. 2021? It's going back a ways. How long did they work on this book? So about the controversy. This has been nominated for an Eisner Award for the 38th Annual Eisner Awards, of which there are 32 categories. There are over 170 nominees, so we're going to get 32 winners. They will be announced on July 24th. I'll actually be in Scotland by then, so I'll have to look up and see if this actually won when I get back. Now, what is it up for? It is up for Best Anthology, and it is up against a few other books from 2025. One is called The Queer Sports Project. I don't know what that is. Sounds like a homosexual book. Another one is DC Pride 2025. Again, sounds like a homosexual book. Seems to be a theme for last year. Then Noir is the New Black Season 2. That does not sound award worthy. I don't know what it is. And lastly, 2000 AD 2026 Annual. I don't know, is it going to have Judge Dredd stories? Does it matter? I can't really make a qualified opinion since I haven't read anything but this one, but I can tell you, this kind of sucks. But the other ones, they don't sound all that interesting. So who cares? But this had a couple of good stories in it, and I hope if it's better than the other ones, it doesn't get canceled. Not canceled, but not voted on because of the controversy, because of the single page by AI. I don't know, it'd be stupid. Well, hopefully the next video will be more exciting and more pleasurable for me to do because I'm going to go back to the Fletcher Hanks Golden Age stories and I'm going to read the Phantoma stories. From what I've seen, they're supposed to be just as weird as Stardust. There's just less of them. But it is the character he made the second most amount of stories about, and so that's what we'll do next. I'll see you then.